I'll be talking about the process of writing approach from Chapter 8 of the Reading, Writing, and Learning text. And I have the first piece of the puzzle. Process writing is an approach to teaching writing that has been researched in depth over many years, with first language learners and English language learners. This process approach breaks writing into manageable parts. The first step is pre-writing. This is where students generate ideas for writing. The second step is drafting. This is where the student gets ideas down on paper quickly and kind of getting a first draft ready that can be evaluated next. The third step is revising. This is where the paper is reviewed and considers the strengths and weaknesses as well as mechanical issues of the paper. The fourth step is editing. This is where the paper is corrected for spelling, grammar, punctuation, and mechanics. And the last step is publishing. This is where students finalize the paper and are able to share it with the class or their parents in a way that is allowing them to showcase their skills. While using this process writing approach, teachers should encourage their students to write daily. More importantly, they should concentrate first on what the student is doing right and encourage them to continue on. Lastly, teachers should provide opportunities for students to write for different audiences and for different purposes, and to write in many domains or genres, such as stories, letters, biographies, and persuasive essays.
Hello, I'll be putting the next puzzle piece. My topic is collaborative context for process writing. When the process of writing is used, students will see the importance of group work during the revision and editing stages. The type of group work the students will be doing are peer response groups and peer editing groups. A response group allows the writer to have an encouraging audience. In this audience, there will be 3 to 5 students. Also, in this group, students will focus on the expressions of ideas, not mechanics, and this was said in Chapter 8. Before the students are placed into groups, as teachers, we should model the responding process. One example is to provide a rough draft and ask model questions. Examples for the question are, what did you mean when you said blank? Or, could you describe that scene so we could see it and hear it? After we're done modeling the process, the students can go into their groups. Remember, allow your students to become independent learners by having them ask their peers questions before going to you. The next type of group is peer editing, and the purpose of peer editing is to go over final drafts and make connections on grammar, punctuation, and spelling. Before the students are placed into groups, as teachers, we must go over appropriate editing techniques. Remember, allow your students to become active learners by asking each other questions. Next, you can encourage your students by publishing their student works, by doing newspaper, short stories, or sharing with younger students what they wrote.
The next puzzle piece I have is developmental phases in second language writing. So according to Chapter 8, in order to be effective writers, students must coordinate clarity of thought and expression, have an understanding of genres, and be able to use conventional spelling, grammar, and punctuation. So for beginning level writers, develop the student's fluency so you can move to the next objective. Once a student can write about 1 to 2 paragraphs, then you can choose to begin the correction. You can also choose to correct punctuation and capitalization, starting and ending with sentences. Also try to allow the students to experiment and freely write so they wouldn't be in fear of getting answers wrong. The next one is intermediate level writers. So they have developed fluency and can move towards specific corrections. When writing correct obvious errors, you can allow them to use books, videos, websites, so they can check on their own and correct themselves. And for the advanced level writers, they've already grasped most of the concepts, so it'd be beneficial to allow them to work with discourse groups where they can collaborate with their other students, and also have them write essay structures that reflect the mainstream classroom, and have them challenge their vocabulary daily.
I have the next puzzle piece, and with this puzzle piece I will be showing you guys a few strategies on how to assist writers. The first strategy that I will use is the Peekaboo book. The Peekaboo book allows the students to become actively involved. It says, my Peekaboo book, what do I see? Here is Lara. Lara's watching a movie. What is she watching? Peekaboo! Home Alone, her favorite movie. Next up is the concept book. The concept book illustrates what concepts and for this concept book, they're explaining what sweet and sour ice cream and lemon, short and tall, and boy and girl. The next one would be personal journals. For the personal journals, the student should be used to writing their own personal thoughts. The teacher won't comment on them. The teacher will only comment on them if the student asks them to be commented on. The personal journals, they just write about their life experiences and whatever's going on, and just to get the students comfortable and how to write. The next one would be clustering. For clustering, it assists with writers in developing vocabulary and preparing for writing. So they basically just write words, one word that in the middle that helps them with the main point, and they just continue on with different words that help them write the essay. And the last one that we'll be discussing today is the mind mapping. For the mind mapping, we're getting the main point. From the main point, we get different sections, and for the different sections, we get subgroups, and it'll be easier for the child to write about the thing. For this example, it's soap, and then their places used, what they're used for, and the types of soaps being used. And it'll help the student better with writing the essay since they have so many details. And those are some strategies that we have learned.
Hello, so today I'm going to be talking about working with errors in student writing. And I have the fifth puzzle piece. So, for teachers, the goal of writing instruction is to promote student competence in writing effectively and correctly across a variety of genres, such as letters, poems, essays, and reports. To assist your class in an effective way, make sure that you work with the student in either groups or individually. 3 important goals for writing development are fluency, form, and correctness. Fluency is to generate ideas with ease while writing them down on a piece of paper. Form refers to sentence styles such as paragraphing and text structures. And correctness deals with the proper use of grammar, punctuation, and spelling. Balancing instruction includes scaffolds, models, and direct instruction. Scaffolding assists the student with all aspects of writing, including correctness. Models, a teacher can model different sentence set patterns, which can include spelling, grammar, and punctuation, which helps the student to better their handwriting. Direct instruction essentially helps students to revise and edit effectively and correctly. And for a teacher to produce good writing results, it is best to correct the students carefully and precisely, meaning you have to watch how you correct the students and how you correct their work, and to help them become better writers.
Hello, I will be discussing differentiating instruction for writing development, and I have the final piece of the puzzle. Differentiated instruction is essential to the development of student growth and success. It is attending to the learning needs of a particular student or small group of students rather than the more typical pattern of teaching a class as though all students in it were basically alike. According to Chapter 8, in order to differentiate instruction, educators need to assess and evaluate students' writing. The 6 traits of good writing is a powerful scaffold to help students improve their writing. However, assessing students' literacy abilities goes beyond simply their writing. Teachers also need to recognize how comfortable a student is when processing written text, how well they express themselves verbally, and be aware of students' literary background. Being aware of students' current literacy abilities ultimately helps teachers determine where they need to begin and then allows them to decide how to move the students to the next level of development. From here, teachers may begin differentiated instruction, being attentive to the framework of who, what, how, and how well. Who refers to grade and proficiency level. What refers to instruction and goals for the students. How goes into detail on how students will be working, whether it is independently or in a collaborative group, and how the students will be divided. Lastly is how well, or the assessment of the student's ability to complete the activity. In conclusion, it is important for teachers to build English learners' confidence, encourage them to write, and point out where they have done well in order for the students to grow and prosper confidently in literacy.
The process of writing is like a puzzle. Putting it together builds confident CLD students.